The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and are not those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. The phone lines are open. Call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU. It's time for Stewart Laser Talk with your host, Dr. Tred J. Rissacher.
I'm 5'10" and 242 pounds.
I always say this is the biggest I'm ever going to be, and I said that like 20 pounds ago.
A third of Americans are obese, another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes.
Sleep apnea, heart disease.
Everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac.
I want to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Good morning, Stuart, Florida. My name is Dr. Tred Rissacher, and I would like to welcome you to an hour of my Slim Body Laser Spa Health and Wellness Show, with an emphasis on how today's modern medical lasers are being used to help you to look better, to feel better, with less downtime, less expensive than traditional surgeries and other procedures. Lasers, as you know, are changing the world. They use lasers now to guide the big planes into the runway in fog and in bad conditions. It's called a laser alignment system. When the plane comes in, they're using lasers to look for pathology within tissue. They're being used, of course, for correcting bad vision. When's the last time you saw somebody with a pair of eyeglasses that were as thick as a Coke bottle? You rarely see that anymore. That's because today's lasers are being used to resurface the cornea so it becomes, so you can see better. They're using lasers for, body, getting rid of dark areas, for skin resurfacing, and also for therapy. These lasers are therapeutic in nature, meaning that when you apply it and you have a condition, it's a therapy to help relieve and to help reduce that condition. And it was something that I had no idea 12 years ago. I didn't even know they existed. I've been in practice for 32 years as a chiropractor. And 12 years ago, I was introduced by a young doctor who came in to work for me. And he asked me, where do you have any lasers? What do I do if someone's in a lot of pain? And I chuckled. I said, well, I have a ice pack. I have a freezer, chest freezer with ice packs in it. You put the ice on them. He says, ice? He says, that's for an acute injury. What if you have something that's chronic and long term? He says, lasers work better. Now I said, why would I have a laser? I couldn't believe it. And he said they're teaching them in the chiropractic colleges, and they're therapeutic lasers. In fact, the FDA approved a program called a Microlight ML830. It was a handheld cold laser for carpal tunnel syndrome back in 2006. That was the first FDA approval of a low-level laser in medical treatment, and it was for carpal tunnel syndrome. And from there, well, you hear about it all the time about these lasers being used. And remember, there's different classifications of laser. And I'm going to go over that with you here today. I'm going to give you just a crash course on laser therapy so you can understand how it works. I'm also going to go over a specific I was speaking with a client and they asked for some records that I had. And I had a wonderful client discussion and recommendations with a client back in 2018. And it's really interesting because I wrote out all of his symptoms, the chief complaints, the history, my objective findings, and also how the laser can be utilized for the different conditions that this client patient presented with. And I think it's very informative, and it gives you an idea of the kinds of situations that laser therapy can help people with. And when you read his chief complaints, you're going to think this guy is like a surgical client. I mean, he needs to go up to the Mayo Clinic, or used to be the Cleveland Clinic down south. Now they can go here in Martin County, but this is a very complex problem with a lot of issues. Degenerative low back pain, spinal cord irritation, stenosis, spondylolisthesis, cognitive problems with memory and day-to-day activities, possible liver problems, and to think that lasers can help this person to overcome and to heal in conjunction with medicine. Of course, we're not telling you not to go to the medical doctor, please. But when you use them together, it's like taking vitamins and supplements and eating better. Your chances of healing are a lot better if you have good nutrition. Your chances of healing are extenuated and increased if you're willing to move around and exercise. Laser therapy is done alongside these other treatments. And sometimes it can be all that you need. But, let the doctor make that determination. So I'm going to go over this case history today in my show. I'm also going to go over, there's 6 of the worst myths that you've ever heard about weight loss. Now, as you know, weight loss, body sculpting is, there's a lot of people out there promoting that they have the solution, as I am here. As I talk to you, I'm telling you the same thing. So what are the myths that involved? What are some of the myths? And I think that when you listen to these and by the way, this is from the Cleveland Clinic right here in our own town now. This is their own publication. I'm just quoting it and reading from it about the 6 worst myths, untruths you've ever heard about weight loss. So you're trying to lose weight but not getting anywhere. It may be because you're believing into several common misconceptions about weight loss. And here are 6 different myths. Dietitians have weighed in. They've shared these facts with you and the truth behind them. And I'm going to go over these myths individually today at my show. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I just want to welcome any of the new listeners out there, and also a lot of my established listeners. Hey, I was at the craft fair, this weekend, downtown Stewart on Osceola there, right between the, by the, I don't even know the name of the restaurants. They changed so fast, but I was sitting right in front of Lou Ronzo's in my booth, and I had at least a dozen people come up and tell me that they hear me on the radio and that they keep on doing what I'm doing. And I want to thank you all. One specifically, her name was Julie M. Thank you so much for coming up and saying hi. And Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, a wonderful couple, super active, well into their 80s, married over 56 years or something. And they're just doing well. And they listen to the show regularly. There's also Mr. Thomas. And he lives over in not Sailfish Point, the golf course community, Martin County Golf Course, Yacht and Country Club. I knew it would come to me. And he said he'd been listening to my show for over 5 years, every single Tuesday. He listens to it because that's when his normal routine is to work out at home. And he heard that I had lost weight. I went from 265 pounds down to 220 pounds in using my laser for the first month, which accelerated this weight loss. And then I ate better for 3 months and dropped 10 pounds a month. And I shared my diet program on the air over 5 years ago. And he listened to it. And he said that he was able to capture it on his cell phone by recording it right next to the speaker, believe it or not. And he instilled that into his own diet. He was over 50 pounds overweight, and he came in. He said that he knew he could do it if I could do it. He had the plan, and he wanted to lose weight. So, that's what you need if you want to be successful in anything. You got to have a desire, and you should be the one that wants to do it, not because your wife is making you do it or your family dropped you off there. It needs to be your decision. And so what happened was, every time he would start to fall away from his diet, my show would come on Tuesday morning, 9:00. And that's when he exercised. And he said it was like being revived, being re-energized. And also, as I go through my programming, sometimes I talk about maintenance of weight. Sometimes I talk about the importance of exercise. Other times I talk about how devastating organic poisons are, these petroleum-based toxins, which have been dumped into us. Literally, we've been flooded with these petroleum-based poisons as a result of our discovering oil 164 years ago. And that's a very interesting story, that we discovered petroleum as a culture 165 years ago. Now, we've had oil in the past where it bubbled up out of the ground. They were called tar pits. Now, some of our ancestors used it for different things, but nothing like when they discovered that it's under the ground with pressure. And when that oil, that they called it the liquid gold, that black gold, started bubbling up out of the ground, who would have ever thought that they would take that highly toxic, flammable substance, change its chemical properties through distillation, through separating out the different molecules, and they make plastics out of it, saran wraps, all of your rayon, nylon, polyester. They make a lot of the food ingredients, food colorings, most of your fragrances that you smell, like Febreze, and the fragrance that when you open up wash your laundry and it has that fresh smell, that's petroleum distillates. They used it to paint the world with it. They used it to tar the roads from California to New York, from Michigan to Texas. The entire country is covered mostly with tar, and that's petroleum, people. And also, all of our cars are powered by petroleum. The planes that fly over our heads are spewing out black smoke, and those little particles settle down. They fall out of the sky and they settle on things. I lived in New York many years. I had an office in Limbrook right outside of JFK off of Sunrise Highway there. And in the morning, every day, I could wipe off the soot, the black byproduct of smog collected on all the cars, the plants. And I remember thinking to myself in my early 30s, this couldn't be good. I mean, this could not be good. Here I am. I'm laying out in my yard. I got a beautiful $400,000 corner property in Limbrook, New York. I bought it for my father. 3 bedrooms, had a private office there. I was in a very great location. And when I would get out of the lounge chair that I was laying in, when I would come back to the chair, it had black soot that you'd wipe off with your hand. Now, if you think that you're not absorbing that or you're not breathing it in, you're mistaken, because you are. And what happens is your body stores it in the body fat. The safe place to store it is in fat. So for that reason, I took it very seriously when I was introduced to this laser body sculpting. I saw the laser as something that might help a skinny mini person or somebody that's unhappy with their belly or their chin. And it seemed better than liposuction, without a doubt, and better than the cool sculpting, better than the fat burning. All these other treatments are not good compared to what I do, compared to the slim body laser. And then I started to realize that people won't respond until they go through detoxification. They need to get some of those petroleum distillates out of their body. So I learned a lot about detoxification, which brings me today to my talk here. So let's go over. I just had a little text come through. My staff she said they had 2 calls that people want me to go over the 6 myths first. And I want to do that for you. So let me do that. Again, you're listening to the Slim Body Laser Spa. I am available for consultations in my office. I'm on East Ocean Boulevard, right across from the Fresh Market. I do not charge for consultations. You can expect to be 30 minutes to 40 minutes long. I'll sit down with you. I'll explain my procedure, listen to you, give you some tips about weight loss. If you're not interested in signing, we can always help you in other ways. But it's really, really worth it. And by the way, we're over 6,000 people have been into the spa in the last 10 years. I'm celebrating my 10-year anniversary at the spa at that same location. And it's the only process we do. I'm using a laser to help people to body sculpt, to get rid of stubborn fat. And at the same time, I'm putting in a complete nutritional program that you can utilize at home on your own. We do not sell supplements. We do not sell pills or injections that have to be taken all the time, like many of these programs. And we do not sell auto ship food. You don't have to, there's no upsells here. It's one fee for 4 weeks of heaven, as I like to say. Okay. This is from the Cleveland Clinic. This is off the website. And they had a little program on the 6 myths about weight loss. And I thought they were so truthful that I thought I'd go over them. So we should wrap this up in about 10 to 15 minutes. There's only 6 topics here. Number 1, the only way to lose weight is to avoid carbs. Now, how many people believe that carbohydrates are why I'm getting fat? I have to cut down the carbs or eliminate them altogether. Somebody who eliminates carbs as a diet plan is called a keto diet or a paleo diet or an Atkins diet. These are diets which are really high in protein and high in fat. Okay. And the only way to lose weight is to avoid carbs. So let's talk about that. And this is according to one of their dietitians, fact. You cannot ditch the carbohydrates if you hope to eat a healthy diet. The 2015 Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommend 3 eating patterns, 3 eating styles. There's one, the healthy U.S. style, the healthy Mediterranean style, and the healthy vegetarian style. So there's the normal U.S. dinners, the Mediterranean diet, and the vegetarian diet. Now, carbohydrate-rich foods such as vegetables, including beans and peas, fruits, and whole grains are the foundation of these healthy eating patterns. Now, this is from Andrea Dunn. She's a registered dietitian. And remember that fiber is a carbohydrate. If you avoid carbs, your fiber intake will plummet. So let me add in a little bit about this because people are very confused about carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And this is a fact. If it is not a protein, which means meat or protein base, there's protein in some plants, and it's not a fat, everything else is a carbohydrate. So carbohydrates are fresh broccoli, fresh cauliflower, beans, legumes, anything that grows from the ground as a plant is a carbohydrate. So how is it that you have to avoid plant-based nutrition to lose weight? That's just not true. What's happened is carbohydrates have been changed in their benefit. When God created them and they come out of the ground and they have the nutrients and the fiber and those wonderful color bioflavonoids that occur within natural grown vegetables and fruits. And then what the manufacturers do, what we've done is we've changed them in order to sell them as our product. So they've taken broccoli and cauliflower, they've pulverized it, soaked it in cheese sauce, put preservatives in it, freeze dried it or vacuum freezed it, and they call it Jolly Green Giant broccoli and cauliflower cheese sauce. Now you've taken a good carbohydrate, that vegetable and those the broccoli and the cauliflower, and you've destroyed the nutritional value in it. Now it becomes a simple carb. So please write this down. Simple carbs are to be avoided as much as possible. Simple carbohydrates are good carbohydrates which have been processed. They've been baked. They've been pulverized. They've had the nutrients stripped out. They've had to put vitamins back into it. They've had petroleum-based preservatives have been soaked into it to keep them so it has a longer shelf life. These are the carbohydrates that are in cans, that are in frozen boiled packets. I mean, they're getting better. If they're frozen vegetables are better than ones that have been overcooked, but still, the closer you can get to raw, to natural, the better off you're going to be. So if a carbohydrate is beneficial, it's called a complex carbohydrate. They're complex because they have a lot of fiber. They have a lot of nutrition. All right. The simple carb, hey, what is it? A soda, a Coca-Cola, 20-ounce Coca-Cola with ice is a simple carb. You know that's not good. Haagen-Dazs ice cream, a pint of Haagen-Dazs, that's a simple carb. Dunkin' Donuts, your Krispy Kreme, those are simple carbs. Now, all of those substances were made from vegetables and food products that at one point were very good for you. But the processing destroys the nutritive value. They pump it full of sugar, so you want it all the time. And that's their business model. And if you don't think it's a successful business model, just ask the people that started Mars chocolate. M&M's, Mars chocolates, right? I think it's Mars. Or the Post cereals, the Post mansion in which I think used to be Mar-a-Lago, right? Tell me they didn't make gazillion dollars by taking vegetables and fruits and combining them in these mixes and grains and trying to, and they made zillions of dollars on it. And at the same time, we've created an enormous amount of fat because of those simple carbs. Myth number two, it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you count calories. All right, that's a great one to go into. So this is the fact. What you eat is what matters. Counting calories, knowing the energy which is released from the food you're eating, encourages you to obsess about quantity over quality. Eventually, the quality of your diet will suffer, and so will your health, says Kirsten Kirkpatrick. She's an MS, and she's a registered dietitian. And this is her quote. The key is to stay within an appropriate range of calories for the amount of fuel you're burning, she says. But you also need to stick to a nutrient-dense diet that will not make your insulin or blood sugar cry out for help. Foods that keep blood sugar stable help you feel satisfied and discourage binge eating. All right, so let me summarize that. Everybody has a certain amount of calories that they burn at rest. In other words, if you're alive and you're listening to my voice right now and you're not eating and you're not exercising, you are burning calories. These calories are being consumed to keep you alive. Now, that caloric amount, if you don't eat any food all day and you don't exercise all day, don't change anything, that number is called your basal metabolic rate. It's your resting caloric intake. My resting caloric intake, my BMR, when I lost weight, I was 52 years old, 6'1", and I weighed 265 pounds. I was 50 pounds overweight. My BMR was 2,400 calories. That's what I consume at rest. So other people, you might be a female, you might be in your 65 to 70, 5'6", 160 pounds, maybe 180 or even less. Your BMR is probably going to be around 1,500 to 1,800. I did a BMR this week on a very fit young lady who had only about 5 or 10% body fat, and her BMR was down around 1,200 calories. Now, I know you don't know exactly how much food 1,200 calories is, but that's about as much food as you can carry in your two hands for the whole day. and her BMR should have been close to 1800. And then I found out she has a digestive disorder, which is causing her to utilize it's scavenging and it's cannibalizing her muscle tissue to help offset the problem. It's a gut disorder. And when you look at her, you say, wow, this kid's in perfect shape, and then, it's only in her 40s. And then when you do the BMR and you find out that it's almost critical at 1200, that's all she can eat and not get weaned. That's because her muscle tone was way down. And we were able to determine that with a simple 2-minute bioimpedance analysis test, which I do at my spa. It's part of my consultation, by the way. So once you understand that to lose weight, you have to eat under that number. That's the law. If you want to bulk up, then you're going to go over that number. But when you're going to go less than that, you have to eat less to lose weight. So what happens is, as you go through this process, it doesn't matter. You could have calories that are sugar calories that wouldn't be good. And that would be something like pound cake or, even though the calorie count, even though you stay under your calories, it's very unnutritious. So for that reason, you have to know your BMR. All right. So let me go over this one more thing. It's called myth 3. Okay, myth 3. If you want to lose weight, you'll have to go hungry. That is not true, everybody. You may think that losing weight means skipping meals and snacks and feeling hungry all day, but that just leads to irritability, frustration, and ultimately going off your diet and quickly regaining weight. The first rule of dieting is no skipping meals, and that is Anna Taylor. She's a master of science, a registered dietitian from Cleveland Clinic. No skipping meals. When you skip meals, it makes your body try to hold on to fuel more efficiently by slowing down your metabolism. And this often triggers overeating, typically the wrong foods later in the day. Boy, have I found that to be true. Instead of skipping meals, eat a healthy snack or a mini meal every 3 or 4 hours during the day, she suggests. Focus on lean protein and good complex carbohydrates, which is produce, nuts, Greek yogurt, carrots, hummus. If these don't appeal to you, then you're really not hungry, she says. You're just craving a treat. Keep hunger at bay to set yourself up for long-term success. You'll be in a better mood also. Okay, myth 4. Cutting fat from your diet helps you to lose weight. Now, this is a huge myth. About 20, 30 years ago, they did a study that they said that people that had high fat in their diet were more likely to die of heart disease. So the American Heart Association restricted the amount of fat that people should eat, and they found out that that is just not factual. They have changed that opinion that fat is very bad. It's really the type of fat that you eat. It's whether it's good fat or bad fat that has more to do with fat, not cutting out all fat. So here's the fact. Avoiding fat does not lead to weight loss. In fact, it often leads to weight gain. The latest research finds that foods containing healthy fat can actually speed up your metabolism and help you to shed pounds. People who cut fats from their diet tend to replace those calories with added sugar and refined grains. These hijack your metabolism, drive inflammation, and spike insulin and pack on the belly fat. So let me repeat that, because that was a little people that eat sugar and refined grains, that would be processed foods. These foods hijack your metabolism. They control your metabolic burn rate. They cause inflammation. They cause your insulin to spike. And when insulin spikes and inflammation is high, you will then put on belly fat. And this is from Bridget Titgemeyer. She's a master in sciences and a registered dietitian. By cutting out fats and relying on sugar and refined grains, it leads to a vicious cycle of more sugar cravings and a loss of willpower. Your taste buds crave what you feed them, and sugar is extremely addictive. So what are the good fats? Healthy fats: avocados, extra virgin olive oil, ground flax seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts, wild salmon. Okay. And this helps you to lose weight. You feel satisfied after eating, and it lowers your inflammation levels, she advises. So anybody that's eating healthy fats is eating basically less carbohydrates, but as long as the carbohydrates are quality, they have fiber, they're fresh, it's not a problem. Here's number 5 myth. How many of you out there have heard gluten-free? I see it all the time. I saw a bag of candy. It said gluten-free, no fat. Big bold letters on the bag. As if it was healthy. It was this something healthy kind of sugar snack. And it said, no GMO. It had a little thing that said no GMO, no gluten, and no fat. And it should say, and we're 100% sugar, which would be worse than all of them. So going gluten-free is the solution to weight loss. I hear this a lot, especially from kids, says Jennifer Willoughby. She's a registered dietitian with the Cleveland Clinic. In reality, many commercial gluten-free items are higher in calories and carbs and can lead to weight gain over time. Gluten-free foods are often lower in fiber also, which leaves you feeling less satisfied and can lead to more overeating. Gluten-free diets are medically necessary for anyone with something called celiac disease. And this can lead to weight loss if done properly using whole, non-processed foods. However, gluten-free diets should not be used as a weight loss strategy. And boy, a lot of people, I know in my weight loss practice and in my spinal laser spa practice, a lot of people that cutting out gluten feel that that's the reason why they're gaining weight. But the fact is, with the gaining of the weight, it's really not because of the gluten problem. I mean, that just means they have gluten-free diets are for people that have something called celiac disease. And what celiac disease means is celiac is a term for one of your lower intestinal celiac tract. So celiac disease states that you cannot break down wheat products properly like other people. Thus, if you have things that have gluten, which is a byproduct of wheat, it's included in anything that has wheat, that gluten is not digested properly, and it causes bloating and gas and all kinds of nasty bowel problems. And then what happens with those people is it also can manifest as back pain. Celiac disease, when people eat gluten and they have this celiac problem, they'll complain a lot about having pain in their back, pain in their muscles. And when you cut out the wheat products, the symptoms go away. But it's not really, but there's a lot of you out there are using gluten-free products because you want to lose weight. You think it causes weight gain. Gluten products do not cause weight gain. Gluten products that contain gluten are a problem if you have celiac disease. If you're a normal human being who doesn't have a problem, like I don't have a problem with gluten products. I can eat wheat and breads. They put calories on really fast. That's the problem with wheat products. They're a simple carbohydrate. It's not because of the irritation. So, gluten-free diets are medically necessary for anyone with celiac disease and can lead to weight loss if done properly using whole, non-processed foods. However, they should not be used as a weight loss strategy, she says. Here's the 6th myth from the Cleveland Clinic dietitians. Let's go over this last one. Now, I like this one too. This is a fact. If you think that healthy foods taste bland and that highly processed, sugary, and fatty foods taste good, then your taste buds may need some help. That's true. Many people who believe healthy foods don't taste good don't know how to prepare them to enhance their natural flavor, says Julia Zumpano. She's a registered dietitian. So here's what she says. Anytime you add sugars, artificial sweeteners, and man-made fats, this hijacks your taste buds. This controls your taste buds. Once you start eating more natural foods, your taste buds come to appreciate the subtle sweetness of berries and the tartness of cherries, cranberries, and citrus. Once you start eating more natural foods, you'll love the way garlic, onions, peppers, turmeric, ginger, and nut or seed-based oils such as peanut oil, sesame oil, almond, flaxseed, pumpkin seed, these enhance the flavor. But if you've been doing nothing but eating sugar and artificial sweeteners and man-made fats, which are your polyunsaturated fats, the ones that occur that are made in a lab, that mainly and the reason why they make them in the lab is so they don't harden up at room temperature. And this is what you fry things in. Your fry cooker has a lot of man-made fat in it, and it's super powerful to your taste buds. So, of course, if you've been having something that's so full of sugar and sweeteners and these man-made fats, and then you eat something like the subtle sweetness of a berry or a cherry, it's going to feel a little weird until you get used to it. So learn how to get the most from these natural flavors when preparing meals, and you'll give your taste buds the treat they deserve, and you will not be making an amount of fat. Wow. 5 myths. I'm just going to review them really fast, just the main thing. Number 1, the only way to lose weight is to avoid carbs. That is not true. You need to avoid simple carbs, the ones that are processed, not all carbs. Myth 2, it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you count calories. That is not true. A pound cake, caloric amount in a pound cake is not the same as the caloric amount in vegetables. Okay. So if you're eating 1,000 calories of pound cake versus 1,000 calories of vegetables, the vegetable is going to be a lot better for you. Come on. You know this. You can't live on pound cake, people, or Nutty Buddies or nougats. All right. So it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you count calories. It has to do with the quality of the food you're eating. Number 3, if you want to lose weight, you'll have to go hungry. That's a myth. If you're hungry and you're skipping meals, your body is going into a protective mechanism which holds on to fat, and you will gain weight as soon as you eat food. Skipping meals is a no-no. It doesn't work well, but that doesn't mean that you should have big meals all the time. Snacks, protein snacks, vegetables, cut up fruit, apple wedges. These are great options for that snack and to help keep your blood sugar going. Okay. The fourth one was cutting all the fat from your diet helps you lose weight. That is not true. You want good fats. Fat does not make sugar. Fat makes energy, and some of the energy is turned into sugar in the form of glucose. When you eat sugar, processed foods, carbohydrates, simple carbs, they make fat. They don't make energy. They make fat because sugar is, they make fat. So don't cut the fat. Make sure you include good, healthy fats. Number 5, going gluten-free is a solution to weight loss. Not true. Gluten-free diets are medically necessary for anyone with celiac disease and can lead to weight loss if done properly. However, using whole, non-processed foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, and lean proteins should be used as a weight loss strategy, not gluten-free products. Myth 6, food that tastes good is always bad for you. That is not true. Foods that have a lot of fat and sugar and man-made fats are designed to be highly energetic when you taste them. And then once you get used to something so sweet and so full of fat, the normal healthy foods seem bland, but you could change that just by eating more of the healthy foods and less of the other foods. Great stuff, huh? Is that amazing? Okay. You're listening to Dr. Tread's Slim Body Laser Spa. I'm available for free consultations. My Slim Body Laser Spa is a process where I am using a non-invasive FDA cleared lipo laser to help to reduce the fat which your body accumulates on the outside of your muscles. You have so there's two fat compartments. There's visceral fat, which surrounds your organs, and there's subcutaneous fat, which is on the outside of the body. When you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, all you have to do is exercise and eat less. As long as you don't have any hormonal changes, something that happened like to your thyroid, or you were poisoned or something that affected your metabolism. Most of you, if you're overweight, you just have to eat less and exercise. They both come down. But if you're over 50 or you've had some hormonal challenges, such as a hysterectomy, maybe you've had POCSD, polycystic ovarian disease, different issues which can affect your hormones, the outer compartment, the subcutaneous fat, does not change the same as it did when you were younger. I call it the thickening. And since it's not from overeating, although it could be, eating less doesn't change it, although it could on some of you, but many of you it doesn't. If it doesn't change by eating less, and you have a trainer and you're eating gluten-free and you're ketoed out, and you're wondering, why can't I change this? It's because it's hormonally initiated. It's estrogen has collected in the front of that tissue and created very large fat cells, not due to overeating. Because if it was overeating, it would be your whole body, not just your belly. It's called an endocrine disorder, an endocrine disruption. You need help from outside, liposuction, fat freezing, fat burning, or super safe, low-level laser, which is what we're doing at the Slim Body Laser Spa. Can't say enough of it. You can actually lie on your back, listen to music, and lose inches of fat wherever the laser is applied. Stomach, back, bra bulge, muffin top, inner thigh, arms, chin, anywhere that you've accumulated excess subcutaneous fat. In 9 relaxing 30-minute laser sessions, spaced out 3 times per week for 3 weeks, we're averaging 1 to 5 inches of measured belly girth reduction when combining the 3 measurements. I have a saying at the Slim Body Laser Spa: if you can pinch it or squeeze it, we can reduce it. This procedure is an absolute superstar when it comes to fast, easy, painless, same-day inch loss, body sculpting, and spot fat reduction results. And did I mention there's no harsh diet? There's no strenuous exercise or any pain involved? And did I mention it's not surgery? It is not fat freezing. I would never allow that to happen to me or anyone I love. Our procedure does not damage those precious fat cells in any way. After applying the safe, low-level laser energy to that area that you're unhappy with, that you want to reduce, it simply causes microscopic pores, little openings form in the fat cells, and the water, the free fatty acids, and the glycerol, which are contained within a fat cell, are completely released and then are absorbed by the lymphatic system, carried through the body, and burned as energy the same day. You do not have to wait for any healing time. There's no waiting for inflammation to go away. There's no swelling to endure. Just same day, accumulative inch loss results. My machine is FDA cleared as safe, and when combined with good nutrition and some gentle exercise, we use whole body vibration plates. The fat burn is unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. I'm doing this 11 years. I've been on the radio for 8 years, telling the same message again and again and again and again. We've had over 400 or 500 people come in directly from the radio program in that 8 or 9 years we've been doing the show. I've never had anybody get on the radio and say, "Hey, it didn't work for me. You're a bum." It just doesn't happen because it works. Now, did they maintain it 10 years later? I don't know that. Life changes, I got a great haircut 5 years ago. I had this one guy that did great haircuts. I don't look at my head today that's half my hair is gone because I'm getting older and call him a bum. My hair didn't hold that cut. Well, weight's the same way, people. God gave us this ability to store fat in case we run out of food. We fixed the food scarcity problem pretty good, but we haven't changed our innate desire to overeat, to protect us from starvation. So I always like to say the worst thing a human has, which is a gift too, is memory and imagination. The animal, the robin, doesn't have memory or imagination. It's instinct. They know they can only go so high. They can only evolve to a certain point. You can evolve past that point because you have a memory and imagination. So you might be sitting there listening to this and remembering when you watched this program and nobody could lose weight because they wanted you to do liposuction. And if you didn't do this one process, you'd be fat the rest of your life. And they showed you all these pictures and images of people that were in trouble and they look the same as you. And that's your memory. It's in your indelible in your mind. You can't get that stupid program out of your mind. You saw that 600-pound life. And now you had a bad couple of weeks eating and you gained a little bit of weight and that scale seems to be going up and your imagination is saying, my God, I'm going to, it's hopeless for me. I see the programs from my memory of everybody that failed at weight loss. They're all over the place. Thus, they want me to go to Weight Watchers because otherwise I'll fail. That's not true. It's just a memory. And then you imagine that that's you. And then you're hopeless and you're shot out and you don't think it's going to work for you. You're imagining this. This is not factual. If you come into the Slim Body Laser Spa and I do my consultation, my BMI, BMR, do a full history, look at your habits, I can tell you factually how well the success that you could have. I'm not dealing with imagination. I'm a doctor. I deal with facts, hard science, and experience. And I don't have any memory of a whole bunch of people that fail. My memory is that 98% of my clients do great. The only difference between you and my clients of 98% is you're not a client yet. So just think about that. My machines are FDA cleared. They're safe when combined with good nutrition and gentle exercise. The fat burn is unbelievable. Many women have dropped 2 to 3 dress sizes in only 3 weeks. Men, and I've got my hand up here, I dropped 2 pant sizes in only 3 weeks. I went from a 40 waist to a 36 waist in 3 weeks, laying on my back, listening to my staff. I wasn't listening to music. I wish I could say I was, but while I was on the laser, they were there. Doc, could you sign this? Can you do this? All right. I'm laying in that chair, doing the laser. I'm so confident that my procedure will work for you that I offer all clients a 3-inch ironclad loss guarantee. That means if you fail to lose 3 inches when combining those 3 measurements or 1 inch in girth in 9 sessions, and you've done what we've asked you to do, you followed our easy suggestions, then I will refund the cost of your plan, no questions asked. I am that confident in my laser and my ability to select the right clientele. Now, I have people that come in who I don't accept because I know they got some other issues here. Things that maybe they're not talking about and nothing super bad, just bad habits. They're not ready to change. Maybe they're there for the wrong reason. I don't know. So I am very confident. Now, I've been serving the Treasure Coast of South Florida for over 10 years and have successfully handled over 6,000 people. Now, as I read this to you, this was actually after my 6th year in practice that I wrote this. And so it says here that I've been serving the Treasure Coast for over 6 years and have successfully handled over 4,000 clients. Well, now we're at 10 years and we're at 6,000 clients. My phone number is 772-223-5885, or you can go online to slimbodylaserspa.com, or you can type in drtred.com Dr. Tread Slim, Slim Body Stewart, any one of those keywords, and you'll come up with my website, and you can click the contact page, subscribe. Listen, I'll give you a bonus if you come in through the website or you give us a call today, 223-5885. I'm actually going to give away a whole week of laser sessions for anybody who calls up and decides that this is the day that they're going to make a change. And our normal program is 3 times a week for 3 weeks. And I will offer you an additional week, another 3 sessions to make it a 12-session plan. The average cost for our plan is $300 a session. 9 sessions is $2,800. And you're also getting a free week if you call us and come in for the consult today. I will also give you a free BMI and a BMR, which is, my high-end machine that gives you your body fat percentage and your resting caloric intake. And you can take that BMR, your resting caloric intake, and you can set up a food plan for yourself that stays under that amount and is 5 to 6 equal portions. And you can start losing weight right after my consultation without having to become a client at all. However, if you need help, you need the guidance, you need the accountability, you need the speed and the accuracy and the effectiveness of that lasers I have, you do best to stick around. We can definitely help you. All right. So, to wrap this up, I have been offered a position with Stewart Main Street. Now, I live in Stewart, Florida. And you have the Chamber of Commerce, you have the Stuart Martin Chamber of Commerce, wonderful people, Joe Catchambone. You've got the Jensen Beach Chamber of Commerce. You got Ron. He's an amazing guy. I was just at their last event, jamming in Jensen. Every Thursday night I'm there with a little table. You want to come say hi to me. And I was offered the large room at the Flagler house over here. And this is where they do presentations and workshops. And I'm setting up a series of workshops and whole body vibration sessions where I'm going to bring my vibration plates. I'm going to bring 10 of them. And you can book it through Main Street of Stewart, or you can go to my office online, let the girls know you want to come in, and you can come in and have some vibration plate exercise training for a very minimal fee. It's going to be a donation thing. And I've just been working with Frank, who Frank Mez-Kappa, I think it is. I say his name right. It's a wonderful guy, and they offered this to me. So I am very, very excited about it. Please check with Frank over at Main Street. Go to the events, the Stewart Green Market. But we're going to be there real soon. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Without you, I would have no reason to be here. Thank you. Bye-bye.